First of all, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Scott Young and I am the Product Development Manager here at Alloy Computer Products. And today we are doing a webinar on Yealink's recent product releases / announcements. Before I do get started, I'll just let you know in regards to questions. If you do have questions throughout the webinar, just put them through on the chat line or the question panel, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Look, I'll probably wait until the end of the presentation and just run through all the questions that you have. Okay, first of all, we'll look at the products that Yealink have released and some of their feature upgrades that have been released on some new versions of firmware. So first of all, we have the new DECT solution from Yealink, which is the W53P. That includes obviously a W53 handset, and it's utilizing the W60B base station. So the new component of this is the handset. They've also released a protective case for this handset, so it's waterproof and dustproof. They've also released a WF50 Wi-Fi dongle. So this is a dual band Wi-Fi dongle, so it supports 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. And something that a lot of you have probably been waiting for is Yealink's CP930W, which is a full wireless conference phone. And in regards to some of the new firmware features that have been released for the CP960 and the T58 and T56 series in version 83 of firmware, the CP960 now supports what Yealink call a star connection, which I would probably call daisy chaining. So the ability to actually daisy chain up to 4 CP960s together. And on the T58 and T56, we now have support for the actual phone to operate as a DECT base station and allows support for up to 4 handset registrations. So that might be the new 53H, it could be the 52H, it could be the W56H. So it supports all 3 different handset types. But I'll go into that a little bit further on. All right, first of all, we'll have a look at the W53P. So W53P consists of the new W53H handset, which does look similar to the 56H handset, but it is physically smaller in size. And what Yealink have done is they've utilized the existing, which is fairly new, the W60B base station, which is a great idea. You know, it means that you've got a single base station for the 53H handset, the 56H handset, and then you have all the new features that were released on the 60B base station, which came out 6 to 8 months ago. So same features on the 60B. So we've got the support for up to 8 handsets and 8 simultaneous calls, and support for those HD audio codecs such as Opus and AMR wideband. So the W53H was built to work with the W60B and is preferred to be used with the W60B base station. However, it can be used with the W52 base station if that is all that you have to use it with. Now, there are some limitations. One of the major limitations is the over-the-air upgrade. So you can't firmware upgrade the handset via the base station. You would need to actually plug the handset into a PC with a physical USB cable to upgrade the firmware. And one thing to note is the W52 base station, there's no new firmware being released for that product. Now with the W53H, so that will work, as I've said already, with the W60B base station as long as it's running version 83 or higher. Okay, so looking at the physical handset itself, it has a 1.8-inch TFT color screen. They've used the same size headset jack as the 56H, that's a 3.5 millimeter, which they've moved away from the 2.5 millimeter, which they used on the 52H, so that's a good thing. They have a smaller, more compact power supply design. And also the cradle has been modified slightly to allow the handset to fit into the cradle a bit better than what it did with the 56H and its charging cradle. If you've used them before, they do have a tendency to fall out of the cradle, but with the, if you knock it, it can potentially fall out of the cradle. But with the 53H, they've made the cradle a bit more sturdier, and the front lip is a bit bigger, so the handset doesn't fall or isn't as easy to fall out of the cradle. They've improved the speaker capability on the 53H, and they've also used a lithium-ion battery, so we have increased talk time and increased standby time as well. Okay, just looking at the content of the products. So as we know, the P on the end of the DECT products stands for the package. So you get the base station and the handset with the product when you're buying a P type product code. So the 53P comes with the W60B base station, includes the power supply and the base as well. Also comes with the 53 handset, the battery, the belt clip, the charging cradle, and also the power supply for the charging cradle as well. And in the P kit, it comes with an Ethernet cable and the quick install guide. The W53H, when buying it standalone, again, comes with the battery, belt clip, charging cradle, and the power supply, and also comes with the quick install guide. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, there is a W53H protective case available, but this is an optional item. Okay, looking at the 53H, so it's a full wraparound case, so that it actually covers the screen and the keys as well. So it allows for dust and waterproofing. So the case is pretty much fully dustproof, and it will allow splashing of water onto the phone as well. Now the case is also drop proof, so we can potentially drop the phone from around 1.8 meters, and we shouldn't have any issues with the phone breaking. Okay, just a quick overview of the full Yealink DECT range. So we've now got the W60 solution, the 53 solution, and the 52. Now there's quite a lot of specs here, so I won't go through them all. The main thing I want to highlight here is the differences between the 53H handset and the 56 and the 52. So the 53H handset has the same memory size as the 56H, 8 meg of memory. Now one thing here is also the standby time on the battery and talk time. So that's been doubled from the 52, and it's slightly less than the 56. So we're looking at 200 hours against 400 hours of standby and 18 hours against 30 hours of talk time. So they've moved away from the nickel metal hydrate batteries that they were using on the 52, and they've gone the same battery type as the 56H, that's a lithium battery. Obviously we get longer talk time and standby time by using the lithium batteries. And as I mentioned earlier, the headset jack is also 3.5 millimeters rather than 2.5 millimeters on the 52H as well. And then we have the same base station features. So we've got support for up to 8 handsets, 8 SIP counts, and 8 simultaneous voice calls. Okay, moving on to the CP930W. This is Yealink's first release product from a series of wireless conference phones. So there's going to be 2 different product releases. Again, the same as a DECT solution. So we have a package and we have a standalone phone. So the CP930W plus base, why they've called it that, I'm not sure. And they could have called it P for the package like they do with the rest of the DECT products. However, we've got the CP930W plus the W60 base station. So again, Yealink are sticking with the W60B base station for all of their DECT products. And then you can also buy the base station, the CP930W wireless conference phone on its own as well. So as you can see from here, so the actual conference phone itself is purely a DECT handset. So it's the same as your 56H handsets, your 53H handsets. It connects as an extension from the W60B base station. So the market position is for small to medium-sized meeting rooms. Some of the core selling points. So the built-in battery has 24 hours talk time, 15 days standby time. And as I stated, using the W60B base station, so we can support up to 8 CP930Ws hanging off a single base station. And the conference phones can also be firmware upgraded over the air. So no need to connect the phone directly to a computer to upgrade the firmware. It can all be done via the base station over the air. Okay, so the CP930, as you can see from the picture, they're hiding this at this point. On the first slide, which I didn't mention actually, they had some of the release dates. So the CP930 isn't actually being fully released until October. Now the time frame before we have stock of the 930 will probably be more around end of November to early December. Now with the 53P and H, stock should be available sometime in October. So I can see us getting shipping product around early November. And the WF50 is available now, and we do have those coming on our next order. So that's due in around mid-October. Okay, so just going back to the CP930. So we've got our usual Yealink Optima HD voice support with full duplex audio. We have a 6-meter 360-degree voice pickup. And similar to Yealink's existing conference phones, we have the ability to do a hybrid conference call, audio conference call. So we can utilize the SIP connectivity, the Bluetooth, and the USB support on those phones, and actually mix the audio from all 3 connections into a single audio conference. Now the phone itself has a 3.1-inch LCD screen, 3 built-in microphones, Yealink's noise-proof technology, which basically just gets rid of background noise. We have the 24-hour talk time, and as I mentioned, the connection via USB, and Bluetooth connectivity to a mobile phone or a PC. Now the phone also has a built-in micro SD slot, which can be used for call recording purposes. And the CP930W is compatible with the other Yealink DECT products. So the W60B base station, and the same base station can actually connect the conference phone and the 53H, 56H phones, all from a single base as well. Excuse me. So as I mentioned already, a couple of different scenarios. So as we know, the complete wireless conference phone solution, meaning DECT connectivity back to a base station with a battery, means no cables whatsoever. The phone allows the phone to be portable, meaning you can carry the phone. It is lightweight. So as long as we have a DECT solution or a DECT base station, we can use that phone basically anywhere. Now, just going back a slide, you saw that they were hiding the look of the conference phone. Now, from as far as I'm aware, I think the CP930 will look similar to the CP920. It's not Android based, so it's not going to be it's not going to look like the CP960. It's going to be more like the CP920. Okay, and again, the hybrid UC meeting capability as well, which is a great feature. Okay, just looking at Yealink's total DECT solution now. So from the chart here, we can see what basically works with what DECT device. So what base station can be used, what handsets can be used, or what handsets / phones can be used, and also the firmware versions that are required. Now, I won't go through all of this now, but look, basically, as long as you're running version 83 or higher firmware, and you're using the newer handsets, then you're going to have no problems. Now, if you are using some of the older handsets or older base stations, okay, you are going to get connection, you can make calls, but you're going to lose some functionality. Okay, Yealink's WF50 dual band Wi-Fi dongle. Now, as far as I know, they're not getting rid of the WF40. I think they're going to keep both at this stage. So the WF40 will be a lower cost version. It'll be 2.4 gigahertz only, whereas the WF50 supports the 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz frequencies, and obviously the newer Wi-Fi standard, so AC and N. The Wi-Fi dongle will work in the 4 series phones. Now, I think it'll also work in the T29G phone as well, but we are still waiting for the version 84 firmware to be released to support that dongle at this stage. Again, easy to use, plug and play, simply plug it into the back of the phone detects it, and configure your Wi-Fi settings for your network, and away you go. All right, looking at some of the firmware enhancements on the version 83 firmware for the 56, 58, and also the CP960. So starting with the 56 and 58, one cool feature that they've released is the support for the phone to act as a base station. So earlier on in the year, Yealink released a DECT dongle, which they utilize, or you can utilize with a 41 or a 42S. So you can actually plug in what they call the DD10K DECT dongle. It can be used in a 41S or a 42S, and that can convert that desk phone into a DECT phone to be used with the W60 base station. Now, what they've done with the 56 and 58 is they've actually reversed it, and the DD10K actually converts the T56 and 58 into a DECT base station. Now, this allows up to 4 53 or 56 handsets to be connected to that desk phone. So the phone, once it has the DD10K installed, can support up to 4 concurrent calls and 4 handsets as well. So we've got support for the HD Opus codec, and the phone itself still has its built-in Bluetooth support, its Wi-Fi, and the phone, of course, is wall mountable. Okay, another cool feature with the excuse me, with the version 83 update for the 56 and 58. So when you're using the phone with the DD10K and you're using it as a DECT base station, we have a mode called Master Slave. What that allows us to do is, if you have a single DECT handset registered with the phone, you can actually transfer calls directly from the DECT handset excuse me, to the physical phone. So you might answer the call on your DECT handset while you're walking around. You walk back to your desk, you can transfer that call directly to the handset or the headset connected to your phone and continue the conversation. Okay, we've also got support for a shared directory. So the directory that you're using on your T56 or 58 can also be shared among your DECT handsets as well. Okay, another feature that we've released is syncing of Google contacts. So what you need to do for this is you actually have to install the Google Mobile Services app onto the phone. Now, of course, because the T56 and 58 are Android, you can simply download either the APK, excuse me, APK file of the GMS app, or you can upload it via auto provisioning. And then you can actually sync your Google contacts with your contacts on your 56A, sorry, 56.8 or 56A phones. Okay, you can also create soft keys on the 56s and 58s, so you can actually customize the type of soft key that it is, and you can also change the icons and customize the look of the icons as well. And Yealink have also included the support for acoustic shield. So basically, when using the phone on speakerphone, it will eliminate some of that background noise that you would normally get. Okay, moving on to the CP960. So what we can do now is we can actually daisy chain up to 4 CP960s together. So it's actually really simple to configure. You log into one of the phones that you will actually enable as the master phone for the Star connection. And then you can connect up to 3 slave devices. So the master phone is where you would have all your SIP registration details, and the slave phones will just hang off that master phone. So the slave phones will obviously allows you to use the mics and the speakers of those phones, but you can also mute the call from the slave phones, and you can actually dial the call and you can answer calls from those slave phones or the master phones. So the rest of the functionality on those slave phones are actually disabled. So you can't log into the web browser, you can't configure SIP registrations or anything like that. That's all just done in the master, and the slaves are purely used to dial, pick up calls, mute, D&D, etc. Okay, the web GUI has also had a refresh. Looks a lot cleaner, a lot nicer to use. So that's also the same with the T58 and 56s as well. So there's a new web GUI on the version 83 firmware. Okay, some additional features that have been added to the CP960. So with the original CP960 firmware, when you're using wireless mics, on the 82 version firmware, when you press the mute button on one of the mics, it actually muted all of the mics, including the wireless mics and the mics on the speakerphone. Now you actually have the ability to mute a single microphone. We have support for customizable XML browser and app icons. It now supports Yealink's device management platform. And another feature is warning tones when users do touch the mute key. On the wireless mics, the mute key is like a sensitive or a touch sensitive button. So you can just run your finger across it and it will actually mute the mic. So now when you do mute the mic, there'll be a warning tone just in case people do accidentally mute the microphone. Okay, there's a whole bunch of new BROADSOFT features on the CP960 as well. I won't run through all of these, but I'll just quickly leave the screen up for a little bit and you can have a look at some of those new features. Okay, so Yealink are also working on compatibility of these new products. So Yealink are normally quite good at this. Once they release a product, they also make sure that it is compatible with all the popular phone systems out there on the market. So as we can see from the right-hand side, most of them will be done by December this year. And there's a couple there that'll be more like February next year as well. Okay, now something that was released only yesterday is the T58 and T56 are now SFB certified as well. So now, along with the T4 series, the CP960, the T5s are also SFB certified. Now, I won't go into a lot of info on the SFB stuff at this point in time. If you do want additional information on any of Yealink's SFB or Skype for Business certified products, then please jot down the link that I've put on the screen there. We've got a customized page on our website purely for the SFB and Teams products that Yealink have available. Okay, guys, that's it. Sorry for my croaky voice at the end. I've had a bit of a cold and my throat's a little bit scratchy. I do apologise for that. Now, what we'll do is we'll look at some of these questions that we have. Okay, Grant, does the CP960 conference call recording require a flash card? So on the CP960s, they actually have a USB slot that can be used for call recording. Now, just remember that a lot of phone systems also support call recording, so it's only really necessary if you are using the speakerphone. Maybe you're using the CP960 via USB connection or a Bluetooth connection to a PC. and you need to record a conversation, then you can do that directly to a USB stick plugged into the CP960. Now, in regards to a question from Nick, okay, any idea if the new Web GUI features are coming to the T4 series of handsets? I have no idea, sorry, Nick. I'm not sure. Look, as we saw in the presentation, Yealink are working on the version 84 firmware for the 4 series. So let's hope that they do improve the Web GUI for the 4 series. I think it all comes down to the available memory and things like that inside the phone. So hopefully they can do that, but I don't have a definitive answer for you. Sorry there, Nick. Okay, guys, that's all the questions I had that I received. Is there any more questions that anybody would like to ask before we finish up? Okay, guys, I'll just give it a couple more minutes just in case you do have some questions. You're slowly typing them away. Okay, guys, no more questions and we'll finish it up. Thank you very much for attending the webinar. Now, the presentation and the recording will be available on the Allo website. It should be up there by tomorrow. Okay, guys, thank you very much.